So, da bin ich schon mal da. Wir machen das mal so. Jo, das nehmen wir mal weg. Na, was ist mit meiner Maus los? Okay, das machen wir mal zu. Ne, das machen wir auf. Ne, das machen wir zu. Das machen wir auch zu. Ja, wir machen das hier über die Xbox-Seite. Ihr habt gleich wieder Bild. Warte. Okay, ja, kann ich machen. Ich mache ja sowieso Vollmodus. Sag du. Warte, wie war das nochmal hier mit dem Dark Mode? Ach, ja, warte. Ihr habt gleich wieder Dings. Bild. Ich muss gerade nochmal hier mein Chrome aufmachen. Hab gleich wieder Bild. Fensteraufnahme. Wo war denn nochmal das mit dem Dark Mode? Weiß ich gar nicht. Wo habe ich denn das gemacht? Achso, ich dachte, das wäre schon dein neuer Laden, was du mir vorhin geschickt hast, Jaco. Ich dachte, das wäre schon der neue Laden. Oh, wow, was ist denn hier mit meiner Bildschirmaufnahme? Das ist ja krass. Das sieht ja scheiße aus. Oh, warte mal. Ich habe nochmal die Bildschirmaufnahme. Oh, ne, das sieht kacke aus. Warte, muss ich ändern. Aber die Bildschirmaufnahme weg. Muss wahrscheinlich wieder einstellen. So, da habt ihr euer Bild wieder. Okay, 14 Minuten. Ja, Dark Mode ist ja, macht ja, glaube ich, nur Sinn, wenn ich jetzt irgendwie das Video dann kleiner mache, ne? Ich weiß gar nicht, wo ich das mache, aber ich hatte es, glaube ich, letztens gesehen mit dem Dark Mode, dass ich das kann. Muss ich nochmal schauen, warte, ich öffne mal ein anderes Chrome mit meinem YouTube und dann gucke ich mal dort. Damit das Bild nicht weggeht. So, YouTube. Wo waren das? Bei Einstellungen, ja? Irgendwo. Mein Kanal. Achso, Darstellung, Gerätedesign, dunkles Design. Ah, okay, cool. Ah, jetzt habe ich das. Okay. Gut. Dann ändere ich das hier auch ab. Darstellung, dunkles Design. So, ne? Meinst du? Okay, cool. Okay, ich kann es noch mal ein bisschen größer machen. Ich werde sowieso aber in den Vollmodus gehen, ne? Ich meine, so. Oh, das sieht schon besser aus, ja. Ja, ich kann es noch größer machen, wenn ihr wollt, so. Und dann gehen wir einfach in den Vollbildmodus, wenn es anfängt, ne? Können wir ja jetzt schon mal so lassen. Dann kann man noch den Chat sehen. Na, wir sind hier auf der offiziellen Xbox-Seite, ne? Wir sind auf der offiziellen Xbox-Seite. Aber jetzt, wie du es jetzt momentan so hast, ne, sieht es auch schon geil aus. Also schön am Schreibtisch, dein Monitor links, kannst du da anschauen. Das ist schon cool. So in etwa habe ich das auch. Aber ich habe dir, glaube ich, auch schon ein Foto geschickt, ne, von meinem Arbeitsplatz. Hatte ich, glaube ich, auch schon gemacht, ne? Jo, ich bin auch echt gespannt. Ich gucke gerade mal, ob da irgendwie dran steht, wie lange das dauert. Aktueller Livestream, 12 Minuten. Nee, ne? Steht jetzt nichts, wie lange ungefähr die Show geht. Ich hoffe mal, so eine Stunde wäre schon cool, wenn die so eine Stunde geht. 1,5 Stunden, 20:30 Uhr wäre auch gut noch. Ja, sauber, Poki. Rauch eine schnelle. Du hast noch 11 Minuten Zeit. Da kannst du sogar 2 rauchen noch. Ja, ich mache mal wieder Vollbildmodus. Ja, dann gehe ich noch mal kurz mal auf Toilette. Ein paar Minütchen. 2 Stunden circa oder länger. Oh Mann. Hör mal auf, Jaco, bitte. Ich muss arbeiten, Mann. Scheiße. Genau heute wollte der Kollege, dass ich ihn früher ablöse. Deswegen muss ich schon 8:45 aus dem Haus raus. Oh Mann. Ich mache mich zwischenzeitlich dann auch noch fertig. Gehe mir schon die Sachen an, dass ich dann direkt beende. Showcase Extended. Naja. Gucken wir mal. Gut, ich bin auch in ein paar Minuten wieder zurück, gell?
Welcome to Xbox Games Showcase Extended. The show will begin in just a little bit less than 5 minutes. Coming up,
So,
Dive
wer redet denn da?
History Untold.
Wer redet denn da?
Xbox Showcase Extended.
So, wer redet denn da? Machen wir hier mal kleiner. 4 Minuten. Dann geht's los. Ich hoffe mal, es gibt echt paar gute Spiele, Mann. Paar gute Spiele. Paar gute Souls-like-Spiele. Und paar gute Shooter-Spiele für unseren Jacko. Was hast du denn immer gesagt? Stalker, ne? Stalker. Stalker. Aber das ist ja nicht, das ist ja alles schon bekannt, ne? Ich meine Stalker. Die sollen ja neue Spiele zeigen, bitte. Und keine alten. Kennen wir doch. So. Energy Drink ist bereit. Eine große Version. Was haben wir denn? Wie viel Milliliter ist denn das? 330 Milliliter. Ah, ist okay, das reicht mir. Ja, Dead Space. Genau, Dead Space können die zeigen, ne? Aber dieses Callisto-Protokoll, da gab es ja, glaube ich, nochmal Gameplay. Das sah richtig geil aus. Das ist eigentlich so wie... Das ist so wie Dead Space. Was schreiben denn die Leute hier? Halo 3 Remake. Halo, Halo, Halo. Was wollen die alle mit Halo, Mann? Ja, Callisto ist auch auf meiner Liste. Callisto, Resident Evil 4, Wulong. Ja. Das Release ist schon bekannt vom Dead Space, Jaco. Januar 2023. Haben die doch schon veröffentlicht. Gab's doch schon offiziell Release-Datum. Wenn ich mich nicht recht täusche, war das der irgendwas mit 23.01. oder so. Dead Space. Naja, da gab es schon was. So, ich glaube, wir können wieder in den Vollmodus, oder? Ja, Vollbildmodus. Die Qualität ist nicht so gut vom Stream. Also das ist auch bei mir so. Die machen ja nur 1080p immer. Und nach dem Stream gibt es immer eine bessere Version mit 4K. Deswegen ist Qualität nicht so toll. Two Minutes, man. Meine Zeit läuft weg. 19 Uhr. Januar, okay. Ja, es geht los. Es geht los. Wir hatten... Poki, du hast, glaube ich, eine Xbox, gell? Hast du ja, ne? Na gut, ich habe einen PC. Ich freue mich auch über jedes Xbox-Spiel, was dann auch auf dem PC kommt. Deswegen, ja. Ich sag mir auch immer, wenn man einen PC hat, braucht man eigentlich keine Xbox, oder? Weil die Spiele kommen ja auch auf dem PC, ne? Aber wenn man keinen PC hat, ist das schon okay. Ich freue mich über jedes Spiel, egal auf welcher Plattform. Ich habe da sowieso kein Dings, dass ich sage PlayStation oder Xbox, mir wurscht. Ist mir egal. Ich spiele jedes Spiel. Egal auf welchem System. Hauptsache, das ist gut. Von mir aus, die soll mal, was habe ich gesagt? Fable. Fable würde ich mich freuen, wenn Fable rauskommen würde. Da gab es ja auch schon lange nichts mehr. Ne? Das habe ich früher gespielt, Fable. Ja. Ich weiß gar nicht, ob das die Xbox 360 war oder die erste Version vom Xbox. Kurz genannt X-Klotz. Ja, aber du kannst hier viel mehr Sachen machen
US Canada rating pending to
am
mature
PC.
17 plus RPM. IARC 18 plus.
Hey, we are a
Three
small
men
snippet
outdoors.
of Squanch Games, and we are here to tell you how excited we are to be a part of the Microsoft Games Show Extended.
Game Showcase Extended.
You know, Game Showcase Extended. What's the need for the extended? Why add that extra word?
It's
Like, is there one that's not extended? And that's why?
we're getting nods. There is a not extended one. Okay.
And that one's just
The
called
image
without the
nods.
extended.
So that's just called the X.
There's the normal one. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, we're happy to be a part of it nonetheless.
Hi Jack, servus.
Scenes from coming Xbox games.
Soll ich den Chat rausmachen auf dem Bildschirm? Wenn es euch stört, kann ich das rausmachen, gell? Sagt nur Bescheid.
Xbox Games Showcase Extended. On a starry background, the Xbox logo, the moon eclipsing the sun's corona gleams at the left, and X is wrapped across the surface
Ja,
of
ist
the
raus.
moon.
Haut rein.
Scenes from coming Xbox games. As Dusk Falls, Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, Minecraft Legends, Grounded. This is the next 12 months of Xbox. Starfield, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels.
Das sind, glaube ich, die Spiele, die in den nächsten 12 Monaten rauskommen, ne?
4 game excerpts, Diablo 4, A Plague Tale Requiem, Overwatch 2. Redfall. New stories. New journeys. New worlds. Forza Horizon 4, Microsoft Flight Simulator. All the various games coming.
Welcome
Aaron
to
and Malik in
Xbox
Xbox
Games
Studios.
Showcase Extended. I'm Aaron, this is Malik, and we have the honor of diving deeper into some of the most exciting and talked about announcements.
Geile
as
Hose,
well as
Mann.
gameplay
Geile
from
Hose.
the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase just 2 days ago. For the first time ever, the entire showcase was focused on games you can play over the next 12 months.
That's right, Aaron. You saw world premiere gameplay from Redfall and Starfield, and today we've got Bethesda's own Pete Hines right here to tell us more. You'll hear from the renowned developers behind the brand new Xbox franchise, Our History Untold. Dive into Naraka Bladepoint with our partners at NetEase Games, and so much more.
But first, we begin with a special look at how our fans got to celebrate the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase with a message from our very own Phil Spencer.
FanFest, Los Angeles, California. Fans applaud. The Xbox logo screened on stage.
You can just feel the energy, people loving to come together as a community, their love of video games.
Phil Spencer, CEO, Microsoft Gaming.
Special time for everybody, myself included. Gaming has this unique ability
Fans
to bring
wave.
people together. Whether it's saving the world from the aliens or winning a football game, it's so great. I love hearing from
Sign
people.
up
If you
as an
like
Xbox
the show,
FanFest
those
fan.
Conversations with people that are here about areas that they like.
Xbox.com/fanfest.
I think that's something that drives us. You saw it in the show today. People said, we want to see more gameplay. And so we said, okay, great. You're going to see a ton of gameplay.
Yeah, I think this is our biggest lineup ever in terms of just diversity of different kinds of games.
Matt Booty,
different kinds of teams,
Xbox Game
different
Studio.
genres.
There's some franchises, Japanese franchises, don't always come to Xbox. We've been working on that. Today we obviously had Persona.
Xbox. livestream.com/fanfest.
We not only have all the games coming from our internal studios, but also great independent game developers that we work with around the world. So could not be more excited for what we're doing with Kojima.
And he's got this really great idea for a game. And I want to be clear, because I know we say like experience and stuff. He's building a video game, but he has this really
Zeig mir ein paar Spiele, Mann.
wants to do in the game. And we said, okay, let's go do something together. And I'm just really proud to be in an industry that can be part of so many people coming together.
Fans cheer. Console launch exclusive.
Ah ja.
Scenes from Valheim. Coffee Stain presents a game by Iron Gate Studio. A medieval pastoral scene, now deep in a forest. A knight wields a sword. At a campfire, he crushes a stone, chops down a tree, and builds a small village. A Viking ship. Inside a castle. Fighting monsters. Valheim. PC Game Pass this fall. Xbox and Xbox Game Pass early spring 2023. Xbox consoles, PC, cloud. Play with Game Pass.
Bethesda opened the showcase with a dramatic gameplay demo for Redfall and closed it with Todd Howard showing us how deep the rabbit hole goes on Starfield. And we also got a sneak peek at upcoming expansions for Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Here to break it all down for us is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Pete Hines from Bethesda. Pete, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Na, hoffentlich zeigen die mal neue Spiele. Ich weiß nicht.
For both Redfall and Starfield, so I wanted to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about the decision-making process for that.
Absolutely. Look, with all the time that goes into a game, it would be foolish to rush it out the door before it's ready. I think we have continued to sort of examine how we think about games and making sure that they are going to meet our players' expectations. Obviously, the last 2 years have really challenged us from a development standpoint. How we work now largely remotely, while a lot of our folks are not back in the office. And, that has an
Scenes
impact.
from Bethesda
I
Games.
also think we've been thinking about things like release dates and when do we give those out and how do we make sure we give one out that we actually hit and don't have to change later. So it's not something we undertake lightly, but at the end of the day, I think what our fans expect, what Xbox fans, what Bethesda fans expect is a high quality game, and we want to do everything we can to give our teams the time to fully realize the games they're making.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's all about, right? Like delivering an amazing experience for the players out there. And so, speaking of games, we're just going to jump into it. We're going to start with how the showcase started with
Sounds good.
Redfall. Now, before we even get into the game, Arcane's making the game, and I want you to talk a little bit about the pedigree of Arcane, just in case people don't
Ja,
know.
hoffe ich auch mal, dass die was
These folks
zeigen.
over there, they're doing their
Ich
thing.
hoffe mal nicht, dass die uns jetzt hier
Studios is
voll
known
labern.
for really amazing, immersive sims. They do any number of things. If you play games of theirs, Dishonored 2, Prey, there's a lot of common threads you'll find in them. They create really amazing, believable worlds. I think that's a big part of their game.
Ja, Prey fand
is
ich
when
auch sehr
you're in
gut. Also,
Dunwall or you're
Prey habe
on
ich auch
a
schon
space
durchgespielt.
station and Prey that it feels believable. There's a reason why things are the way they are. They're also a big believers in systems-based as opposed to scripted. So they really embrace player freedom and sort of giving players the tools to decide, you figure out how you want to complete this mission or get through this area. We're not going to tell you how. We're just going to give you tools and then give you the freedom to go and do. But, there's great characters and interesting story. They bring a lot of different elements and then really let the player create the experience they want.
And that's what it's all about. Gamers have taken many games and made it their own. And I think the fact that Arcane is making the game with that in mind is super important. Now, how similar or dissimilar would you say this game, Redfall, is from the other Arcane
I mean,
games?
look, on the surface, it's a first-person shooter that you can play solo or with, up to 4 players. And so immediately you might say, well, it's not a single-player game, so it must be wildly different. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely ways in which it is different. But I think when folks play the game, and even when they see more of the game, I think they'll start to see all of those things about an Arcane game that they love and appreciate. Why it's won multiple Action Game of the Year awards for Dishonored 2, is their ability to bring all of those things together, really high level of polish, and let folks experience it. And so I think all of those things we talked about. If you want to play a game by yourself and get a great Arcane story, you can absolutely do that in Redfall. But you can also do things that you haven't been able to do in an Arcane game, like experience it with friends and find out sort of how the whole can become greater than the sum of the parts, like playing it off of each character's abilities. You saw some of that in the demo that we showed. I think the more that people appreciate that, you almost are going to want to try and play Redfall a couple of different ways. You might want to play it by yourself a little bit, play it with others, and it's a game that allows you to do either or both.
Welches Spiel denn, Jaco? Was zeigen die denn überhaupt?
Talks
Ich
about
check
playing
das
with
gar
friends
nicht.
'cause I'm taking applications for friends
Check das
to
überhaupt
help me
nicht,
get through
Mann.
Redfall.
Can I put my name on that list?
It'd be-
I'm down to a
Excuse me?
little.
It'd be an honor. Pete,
Keep me on that list.
All right,
we
we're
need
gonna
to
do
go
it.
explore Redfall together.
I'm excited. I can't wait for that. And so let's talk a little bit more about the game. Now,
Ja, redet nur
between the
weiter.
trailer that we saw last year at the reveal,
Ach so,
as well as
Redfall war
this
das,
one that we
okay.
just saw, I feel like Redfall reminded players of other co-op shooters like Left 4 Dead, for example. What makes Redfall unique?
Again, it's one of those things, like if you watch just like combat footage, you might look at Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or any of these things and go, oh, I see multiple characters facing a bunch of enemies, and so it's the same game. But I think that would be doing a disservice, that it's all of the things that take place in between the combat as well as the combat itself, sort of combining different skills and abilities in the way that you do. Layla dropping down an elevator using her powers that Jacob can use to get up top on a roof and provide cover. You have different characters who play roles really well. How you
Ja,
choose
Mann,
to
Jack.
rebone,
Dolmen hat ein
the
Update
robot,
bekommen.
all of those things come into,
Ja,
again,
kannst du
allowing
mal
the players
reinziehen, wenn du
not to
willst.
say, here's a set of rules and you can only use,
Ich
no,
wär dabei.
here's just some stuff that you can go off into this amazing sort of dynamic, ever-changing world and sort of experience and explore for yourself. And you come back the next day and it'll look and feel like a different experience, even though you're in the exact same part of the game. I mean, I think those are the kinds of things that Arcane does that really bring that sort of extra special element that makes their game so compelling.
Yeah, compelling and fresh. So I'm excited for Redfall, and you said it here for everyone to see that we're going to be playing together. So I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
You got the proof. All right.
Can't wait.
Oh, awesome. So let's talk about Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I want to talk about the team philosophy, because I hear that the team is actually banned from saying things like, now is the perfect
Ah ja, du
time
hast
to
ja jetzt
play.
die Erfahrung. Ich denke mal, 6
Saying is there's
Stunden bist du
never been a
durch.
better time to play a game.
Oder?
Like,
Mit
we
Dolmen.
all say that. Yes, games always get better. We
man.
know that. The thing that we love about where Elder Scrolls Online is going is their ability to continually refresh the experience for players, provide new experiences, like going to High Isle, a place they've never been in an Elder Scrolls game. It does a lot of things like story and intrigue. There's a lot of
Ich hoffe mal, die
politics
reden
in
uns
High
nicht zu
Isle,
Tode
different
hier und
factions
zeigen keine
and
neuen
the
Spiele,
conflict
sondern
that's
einfach
going
die
on there. And
alten
again,
Spiele, die sie
a
jetzt
way that you can
gezeigt haben die
jump in
letzten
and play by
Tage.
yourself and experience it by yourself, even though it's an MMO.
Wulong.
But the real
Wulong ist
special
unser
sauce
Dings,
of Elder Scrolls Online is our amazing community. They're so welcoming. They're so helpful.
Unsere
If you need a
Hoffnung.
little bit of help, if you need a lot of help,
They're there for you.
they're there for you to help explain, to make sure you have a fun
Ja,
experience. And
Wulong wird
honestly,
wahrscheinlich sowieso
that is
Neo
such a
3 und
huge
ich denke mal, die
part for an
können das nicht
online
Neo
game
3
of
nennen,
creating an
weil
environment where anybody,
wahrscheinlich
no
die
matter whether
Rechte
you
an
just
der
started
Marke
playing or you've been
Sony
playing
hat
for
eventuell.
8
Kann
years,
es
can
sein?
have a good
So wie bei
experience, no
Dings
matter how you decide
damals
to
Demon's
engage.
Souls
I
und
love
dann
that you
kam halt
mentioned
Dark
that. Community
Souls.
is such a, as you mentioned, is such a
Bei alle
huge part of
Plattformen
any online
ist
game.
das vielleicht
And so for
genauso
players who
mit
may not have
Neo.
played Elder Scrolls, who are, like you said,
Ja,
looking
weil
to
die
jump
das einfach
in,
nicht
to know
Neo
that they
3
have that
nennen
community
können,
backing
nennen
them,
das jetzt
that's gonna
Wulong
help
und
them
bringen
guide
das auf
them in
alle
their journey,
Plattformen
is
raus.
super exciting. So, but I want to talk about Fallout a little bit.
Okay.
Huge milestone recently, 25 years of Fallout. It can rent a car even now. At this point, right? We're talking about it. All right, so this has to mean something super special to the team.
Absolutely, and look, we are as aware of anybody. Like this franchise did not start with Bethesda. It's one that we took on along the way, and our intent is not just to pay homage to like Bethesda Fallout. Like, no, we mean all Fallout, because what this series has done, what it meant to us as players when we went played those games, played the original Fallout 2,
Hoffentlich,
and then
Jack.
what the franchise has
Und
become,
hoffentlich
and
zeigen
sort
sie
of
mal hier
growing
so
and
richtig
finding
geiles
even,
Gameplay,
a new audience with Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout
dass
New
wir uns einen
Vegas,
Eindruck machen
Fallout
können.
76 is something we really want
Scenes
to
from Fallout.
celebrate. And honestly, what's going on in Fallout 76 with the pit and your ability to continue to push the boundaries in an online game of story and meaningful player choice, and as you're going along, making decisions that kind of matter and have a real impact, I think is important in the evolution of Fallout 76. And just honestly, how far that game has come from its launch. Like, we're keenly aware of how that launch went, but we are also keenly aware of the incredible amount of effort and dedication from all of our teams across Bethesda to say, like, we believe in this thing and we want to give the fans more of what they want and the
Hi,
kind of
Daniel,
experiences that they
mein
want.
Lieber.
And where Fallout 76 is now is truly remarkable when you go back and look at sort of where we were and how far we've come, and honestly how much cool stuff is in store in the pit. It's going to be super fun.
Excited to jump in, and again, that's one of those things that I'm sure you guys attribute to the community, giving that feedback.
That 76 community, again, not just in the game, but what they do for each other, to support other folks in the community, what they have done to raise funds for
Alles gut, danke und
worthwhile
selbst.
causes. Like, it's not just an amazing group of gamers, it's an amazing group of human beings, and honestly one that we're honored to interact with and be a part of every day.
I love that, Pete. Before you make me cry, we're going to move on to Starfield, all right?
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about it. Starfield ended the show. I got to say, watching the trailer, breathtaking. It's one of those things from the different locations and just seeing the difference between that moon versus the populated city, just amazing. The dog fighting.
New Atlantis,
just
Starfield.
everything was so awesome. The team really outdid themselves.
It's one of those things about a Bethesda Studios game that I always love, and it's been the case, honestly, since, I worked on Morrowind and Oblivion and all those games that, we talked
Naja,
about.
nicht, dass jetzt
Every single one.
From Software hier ein Spiel
People
vorstellt,
down to, it's
Xbox
about
only,
this.
da musst du es
Because
wieder
it's not.
da musst du dir bestellen.
Ultimately, what those games are massive sandboxes where they give players just ridiculous amounts of freedom to say, you go figure out what kind of game you want to play and what kind of experience you want to have, because that's what this game is about. It's not us prescribing and saying, you have to do these things. And no, it's about creating this huge sandbox with over 1,000 planets so you can completely explore and say, yeah, but you don't have to. Like, it's entirely up to you to figure out what is fun for me. Do I want story? Do I want to join factions? Do I want to, build outposts and gather resources to build more cool stuff? The team really puts all of those tools in the players' hands and step back.
Egal, ich freue mich auf Starfield auch. Starfield wird auf jeden Fall gut.
Starfield, which is your story, which is going to be different
Starfield
than
wird
mine,
gut.
which is going to be different than everybody else's. And I think that's really where the magic of a Bethesda Game Studios game happens.
Auch wir hoffen auf einen From Software
Everything
Titel
Tom
auf der
said,
Xbox.
this is what an
Xbox
epic
only.
RPG is. What does Bethesda define an epic RPG as?
Ich will dann nicht wissen, wie viele Leute sich die Xbox holen dann noch. So ein Spiel würde das wahrscheinlich ankurbeln, ne? So ein From Software Titel.
Game Studios always pushes themselves to the most freedom and least limitations, right? Where the items in the world are all real things. You walk into a store and there's a bunch of weapons or whatever. Like, that's not just art on a countertop. Like, you could pick those up. You could steal them and run out of it. You can create chaos. Like, we don't want to put too many limits on what the player is or isn't allowed to do.
Ja, über 1000 begehbare Planeten, ne? Das ist schon krass.
And then they try it. And then they get to see, like,
Aber egal,
oh
ich
my
meine,
Lord,
es muss ja
chaos
nicht so
ensued
sein.
and it was insanity.
Die
Everybody
Größe
was
macht ja
shooting
kein
at me,
gutes
but
Spiel aus, aber
that's,
trotzdem
I
denke
think,
ich, dass
the beauty
Starfield
of
schon gut
Bethesda
wird.
Game Studios and the number of ways that they push for you to explore that, right? It's not just one, it's you could spend thousands of hours doing nothing but shipbuilding and like focus that as all you're about, and that's
Was meinst
okay.
du, Nemesis,
You could
wegen
also be
Starfield?
about exploring every planet and finding all of the good, and that's okay. Or you could
Also
just
ich
play the
mag
main
die
story
Spiele von
and be like,
Bethesda,
I wanna kind of
die
experience
Elder
that I'm guided
Scrolls,
through so that I kind of
Fallout,
get to see stuff, and I might stop here and there. Oh, there's
diese
cool
Open-World-Spiele
side
mag
quests
ich
that I
von
got, but,
Bethesda.
I want something that sort of leads me through because I'm a little, it can be a
Starfield
little
wird
daunting to
auch
say
ein
you can go and
Open-World,
do
ne?
whatever I want. Like, ooh, I don't know what I should
Mit
do.
seinen
So
Quests, mit
some
seinen
folks want
Skillbaum. Plattform,
little bit of a
ne?
guided path or to understand where the fun is and
Mit
no
seinen
approach is
Shooter-Elementen,
wrong.
mit
Like
seinen
for me, that's
Rollenspielelementen
epic
und
because
deswegen
it
bin ich auf
says
Starfield
we aren't
schon
putting any
gehypt.
limits on
Und
what
ich
you
denke,
can or
Starfield wird ein sehr
do.
gutes, großes
We're going to
Spiel.
set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you
Gut, ich brauche
solve
keine
problems or
Xbox.
choose to spend your time in this
Ich habe ja
world
einen
we've created.
PC,
I love that, and what you said about
deswegen brauche ich keine
those
Xbox.
moments that maybe you experience that I don't. Like those are some of the best moments
Aber
about
wenn ein
getting
From
back to
Software-Titel
playing
rauskommen
RPGs when I'm
würde,
discussing with my
auf einer
friends.
Konsole,
Oh,
würde
did
ich
you
mir die
see
holen.
that?
Ich habe
Ah, did you
mir
see it?
auch
Where did you
die
see it?
PlayStation
And having
5
them
wegen
go out and
Demon's
find
Souls
it.
Remake
So I
geholt.
think that's going to be one of those
We
things.
talk about that a lot, that sort of water
Und eine
cooler
Konsole
effect.
kostet ja
Come
nicht
in
so
the next
viel.
day and you talk to
Ja, bist du mit
everybody about
300
what you
Euro
did, and
dabei.
you were like, wait, I did that quest, but I did this completely different thing. And you sort of start to appreciate all of the choices that you could have made. You didn't even realize were an option. Like, oh, I didn't even think about doing that. Like, oh yeah, I just ran in and stole his ship and shot all of his crew members and took off. Like,
Warum
you can
nicht?
do that? Like, oh yeah, you can do anything. Like that. I think that is a special part of a Bethesda.
Es würden sich wahrscheinlich viele eine Xbox holen, wenn ein From Software-Titel rauskommen würde. Du vielleicht nicht, aber es gibt bestimmt da Tausende von Leuten. Also ich würde sie mir auch holen. Ich würde mir die 300 Euro investieren.
We saw quite a bit of combat and action in the game. That seems to also be, in addition to exploring and everything, that seems to be another huge focus of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, look, if you look at a game like Skyrim,
Hi
which,
GGH, servus.
everybody's played Skyrim at this point. It can, a combat is a big part of that, unless you decide it's not. Like if you're one of those folks that says, actually, I'm going to do the alchemy thing, and I just go off and pick
Ja, eine
flowers and make
Series
potions and, like,
S, was war denn
live
das?
another
Was haben wir
life
geguckt?
in
300
another
Euro,
world
ne?
this way, then combat isn't part of it. But look, we know in an epic RPG, there's always bad people. They, shooting at you. Sometimes you got to return fire. And
Ich glaube, die
there's a lot of
labern
fun
uns
to be
voll
had
hier, ne?
there. And so, providing a lot of different skills that sort of determine how good you are in combat, combined with all the different weapons in the game, and then you layer in ship combat.
Echt, das
and
erinnert dich
all
an
these
No
other
Man's
things
Sky?
that
Ich weiß
starts to
nicht.
sort of paint a picture of just how broad or how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's going to be so impressive.
Man, ich
and
kenne
just
No
a
Man's
little
Sky
bit I
nur
wanna
vom
talk
Sehen,
about it,
aber
'cause
ja.
this was when watching the video, the demo, what I saw, and it really caught my eyes around the ship. It's not just getting in the ship and that's your ship. There's so much behind it. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, like every ship is customizable to the nth degree, and not just like cosmetically. I want my ship to look like this or look like that, though obviously that's totally a thing that you could do if all you care about is cosmetics. But it goes much deeper than that in terms of like what kind of shields you have, what kind of weapons you have, like what kind of ship are you building? What do you want it to be good at? What trade-offs are you willing to make or not? And then the other part
Bei
of
der
it is, of
Xbox
course, well,
ist
you
es
can't
halt
just,
so, ich
like,
meine,
it's a
Sony,
spaceship. Those aren't
ich bin ja kein
cheap.
Fan
So you
von
have to figure out, like,
irgendetwas,
how
ne?
am I going to do
Da
this?
bin
Where
ich
do I
auch
get the
vielleicht viel zu
resources
alt, dass
to
ich
build this
sagen
up? What
kann,
kind
ich bin so ein
of,
Fanboy oder
skills
so.
do I need to level
Aber
up to
Sony
improve
hat
different
halt die
parts of
Nase
my ship
vorn,
beyond,
weil sie auch die besseren
what I could do
Exklusivtitel
without
haben,
those
ne?
skills. So there's a lot of, again,
Also ist
choices
meine
in
Meinung.
terms of you get to decide that. How
Ja,
much
die
you
haben halt
wanna
einfach zu
put
gute
into that or not. Do you
Exklusivtitel.
just want to give somebody money
Deswegen
for the
ist auch,
parts that you
hat
want? Do you
Sony
want
auch
to
immer
build
die
it?
Nase
All
vorn.
of those things are sort of part of the fun of deciding how much do you want to interact with this and how do you want to interact with it.
Absolutely. I mean, just as you mentioned, the scope, the level of player agency, something that I feel like is going to just make Starfield such a special experience.
Und wenn
So between
Microsoft
Redfall,
mal
ESO,
so
Fallout
krasse
76 and Starfield,
Exklusivtitel
you are just
raushauen würde,
killing the game.
Yeah, we got a few games coming out.
dann
It's gonna
würden
be
sie
so
da auch
great.
mithalten.
Pete, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, Pete. Now, coming up, we'll hear from our friends around the world, including Squanch Games,
Jetzt machen wir hin.
Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, and of course, Xbox fans like you. But first, let's hear from the creators of one of the world's most popular Battle Royale
Ja,
games.
Meinung und Geschmäcker, ne, Jaco? Ich meine, die einen stehen halt auf die Spiele, die vielleicht
Behind the scenes,
Last of
Baraka,
Us vielleicht nicht so drauf oder Uncharted, ne? Bloodborne mögen vielleicht nicht so. Dafür mögen sie halt Halo oder Forza.
Warriors,
We are glad
Rick
to share
Kwan.
Naraka Bladepoint, a unique online multiplayer action game with players all around the globe. As a NetEase studio, 24 Entertainment is joining hands with Microsoft to bring Naraka Bladepoint to consoles for the first time. You could play the game on Xbox Series X and S, as well as Windows next week. We're also joining Xbox Game Pass, a platform with a huge player base and a vast, bright future. Naraka has been so well received on the PC platform. I am so
Mir ist
grateful
eigentlich
to be
egal,
part of
auf welcher Plattform irgendein Spiel rauskommt.
As a competitive survival game incorporating a lot of action elements, Naraka features a range of characters with unique personalities. Each hero draws from different civilizations and cultures. Battles allow for a great degree of strategic play. You've got a wealth of melee and ranged weapons to choose from, and a vast map filled with interactive elements to explore. Perhaps you'll engage your foes in samurai combat, katanas at the ready, or maybe you'll use Persian assassin techniques and strike from afar. With your grappling hook, you can fly between temple walls and across bamboo forests with ease. Beyond solo endeavors, you can also party up with friends and use group tactics to flatten your foes. That's Naraka's underlying design philosophy, that you're unchained and have the freedom
Was ist denn das für
to
ein
choose
Spiel?
how you play. Collect soul jades to change how you play, transform your katana strikes, and make your cannon a weapon of mass destruction. Each hero can be customized too. Whether you want to rush into battle as a
Die Qualität vom
warrior
Stream ist echt
or
schlecht.
cast fireballs as a sorcerer, the choice is yours. We can't forget to mention our unique face customization system too. You'll never need to worry about running into a doppelganger on the battlefield, because you're able to edit your hero's features to your heart's content. You can even recreate your favorite faces. As we approach Naraka's first launch anniversary, we're introducing a brand new weapon, the Twin Blades, releasing together with the Xbox and Game Pass editions. Twin Blades strike with
Ja.
the speed of a raging tempest.
Umso größer, umso mehr Pixel musst du darstellen, Poki. So kleine Handy oder Tablet würde noch wahrscheinlich gut ausschauen.
It comes
Ja.
with a style all its own. Charging up strikes is usually a high-risk, high-reward move. With the Twin Blades, you can charge up while moving and keep your momentum as you unleash a flurry of combos on foes. Since its release, Naraka Bladepoint has launched its own faction clash game mode with Omni's Nightmare and the thrilling limited-time mode Shadow Surge. There have been many casual modes to play
Ja.
as well.
Game Pass
Our
ist
community has
bei
eagerly asked
Microsoft
for a
schon
campaign
besser,
mode.
ja.
We're always listening to our player base, and we're happy to announce that the wait is over. Players will see the first chapter of our campaign mode. Form teams of 3 to take on new enemy types and massive
Ja, du musst es halt mal so sehen, Jaco.
Disarming a boss won't
Die
be as
verkaufen
easy as
sich,
disarming another
die Spiele von Sony verkaufen sich auch ohne Game Pass, ne? Die verkaufen sich halt sehr gut.
Entirely different games. Further campaign chapters are also in the works, so we're eager to hear any feedback you have for us. We are also working on an Xbox One version and hope to see more players join Naraka later this year. Naraka is launching on Xbox Series X and S and Windows Store.
Und es geht
on
immer um
June
Kohle
23rd,
meistens.
and it's included with Game Pass at launch day. Now's your chance to dive into the world of Naraka Bladepoint.
快来体验我生无拘吧！
Coming up, deep dive Ara history untold. June 23rd, 2022 for Naraka. Xbox Game Studios presents.
Da hat man letztens was gesagt, Jack, dass der wieder, weiß nicht, der hat irgendwas studiert, glaube ich, und der hat jetzt momentan so Pause, was er macht. Ich schaue ihn hin und wieder mal an, aber das weiß bestimmt irgendein anderer besser, wie er das macht. Ob er das richtig hauptberuflich macht, keine Ahnung. Ob er das überhaupt hauptberuflich machen kann, in dem Umfang, was er macht.
Forces on the Brandenburg Gate.
New stories would you tell?
Ben Franklin flies a kite.
And when your people speak, would you listen?
Naja, Jaco, die haben das halt nicht nötig. Warum sollen sie denn einen absolut krassen Exklusivtitel in Game Pass reinhauen? Das Ding verkauft sich doch millionenfach sowieso. Was haben die denn davon? Was haben die denn davon, wenn die zum Beispiel einen Last of Us 2 beim Release rausgehauen hätten?
History.
Oder einen Demon's Souls Remake? Die Dinger verkaufen sich doch so gut.
A model solar system.
Will be yours.
Oder meinst du, die würden dir aus Nächstenliebe dann irgendwie ein Spiel schenken, nur weil du einen Game Pass hast? Microsoft hat die Kohle und die müssen sich auch noch ein bisschen über Sony etablieren, oder? Die hinken doch auch mit den Verkäufen hinterher. Und Sony hat es doch nicht nötig, die Dinger rauszuhauen. Es geht um Kohle. Warum sollen sie denn da was einbußen wollen? Ich denke halt so.
Aura
Was soll der
History
Grund denn
Untold.
sonst sein?
Dan, Michelle, thank you too for joining us today.
Thank you for
Michelle Menard,
On
Dan
behalf of the
Baker.
entire studio, we are really excited to be here and finally be able to talk about Aura.
I mean, we all are excited too. You just had the world premiere 2 days ago for Aura. And I have to say, I'm a really, really big history fan. I love me some history. So I've been looking forward to talking to you two about this. Now, we all know this is not your first strategy game, but the vision behind Aura is so ambitious. So tell us more
Außerdem
about
hat
it. And also
Microsoft
for those
genug
who are new
Kohle.
to Oxide Games, we would
Ja,
love to
die
hear
können
more
sowas
about the
vielleicht
studio
eher
as
machen.
well.
So, Oxide Games was founded 9.5 years ago in my basement, actually, from the development leads of Civilization V. And our goal is to push strategy games to the next level.
And what's really great about working on a new IP is that you don't have kind of these previous expectations that a sequel would have. And so the sky really was the limit, and we got to really take the genre to a new space. And we really hope that not only will fans of strategy games like this, but people who've never played a strategy game before will find something they love as well.
You're absolutely taking it to the next level. I think I saw like a drone was in like the 18th century or something like that. It's very, very fascinating. And I think that like if you're someone who really enjoys history, it's bringing like all the worlds together, all the periods of time together. And that's a grand vision in itself. So how does the vision of Aura impact the player experience within the game?
So one of the kind of big things we wanted to do with Aura was really explore how to make the game less about finding that optimal strategy, that optimal path, and really bring in ways to make it more meaningful to the player, make it unique to themselves. So what are different kinds of choices we can bring to the player so that when you play, it's different than when I play, and yet we can both be competitive together? How can we do things to really impact agency and expression and really let you express your values and your play styles through the different mechanics in the product?
And Dan, what about you? How does the vision impact the overall experience?
So one of the big things that we've been working on is what we call the living world. We wanted the expression of the game to manifest itself in a way that felt authentic and cool. So we've spent a lot of effort on making sure that the choices that you make are expressed in a visual way. And so you're going to see your citizens doing things that reflect the choices that you've made. And this is actually really challenging. So one of the goals when we founded Oxide was to not have to tell the designers, no, you can't do that thing. And so the game is obviously huge. It's just massive. And so it's a very large technological constraint from doing something like that. But we have our own proprietary engine that allows us to really bring this alternate Earth to life.
I think that's the beauty, right? Because in history, the great thing about learning history is that you learn about culture, you learn about stories, you learn about things that are probably brand new to your eyes. But the way that Aura helps you remix, reimagine, and rewrite history is a beautiful sight to see. And I'm excited to get my hands on it, and I'm sure everyone else is who's watching. So let us know, where can we learn more about it, and when can we get our hands on it? Because I need it today.
So if you head over to the website, you can sign up for the Insider program, which will give you a chance to join the technical alpha and play the game later this summer.
AuraHistoryUntold.com.
Playing it, all the time, and so now you'll have a chance to play.
Dan, Michelle, thank you too so much.
Was ist denn das mit dieser Stimme im Hintergrund jedes Mal?
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Grounded is finally leaving early access and moving into full release with a highly anticipated story mode. Here's Adam Brennicke and Eric Dorabella from Obsidian Entertainment to tell us more.
Oh, Obsidian, das ist gut. Obsidian macht gute Spiele.
Behind the scenes, Grounded.
What can players expect from the 1.0 launch of Grounded?
Obsidian Entertainment.
It's going to be a complete game, and that means story.
Adam Brennicke.
From
Eric Dorabella.
You can play through, why are you here? Who put you here?
Yeah, exactly.
And how are you going to get home? And I think those are like the big questions that people are asking about Grounded.
Miniature kids. Explore a yard.
Survival game. And one of the jokes was, hey, what if we did backyard survival? Everyone was like, yeah, that's a very unusual idea, but I think there's something there. One of the things that we did early on was establish the art style of Grounded. Things started like coming to life as we did the initial prototypes and like seeing some of the cool things, like the first time we added like the spider into the yard, seeing the reactions of people in the office, like even like jump scares, like people screaming.
Attacking a spider.
The team is very small. It's the smallest team I've ever worked on at Obsidian. I wanted everyone to be able to participate on the design side of things. So I said everyone is a designer on the team. And I think that extends into our community.
Ja, Poki, nee, das ist nichts für mich. Was ist denn das? Liebling, ich habe die Kinder geschrumpft. Das kennen wir doch alles. Die sollen mal was Neues zeigen. Ja, GGH. Danke.
A huge thing just to get people's feedback constantly of what they're liking, what they're not.
Ist ein Xbox-exklusives Titel, Jaco. Schnapp zu. Aber das ist bestimmt im Game Pass. Nein.
Coming up, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
We're at that point now that the yard's getting finished, and now we can play through the story. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of things that I think players aren't going to expect. And I think I know what you're talking about. I cannot.
Ja, die wurden alle schon gezeigt. Ich hoffe mal, dass die hier was Neues zeigen, ja? Ich weiß ja nicht.
Finally jump into the game. People who played the game previously are also like holding out for more content. I think it's just going to pull a lot of people back in and gain a lot of new players. So Adam, we have the Broodmother from last year. It was like our
giant ladybug.
And then we came out with a bunch of mini bosses like Termite King, and the Assistant Manager. But in this trailer, we're showing players the Mantis. What can they expect from this?
So we're super excited to finally show off the Mantis. And I know that's been a big ask from players that they want to see
Jo, viel Spaß. Kannst du auch im Video anschauen, wie das ausschaut. Da brauchst du nicht selber zocken.
You know, the Mantis is just a little tease of one of the new boss fights, but there's more to come, right? Like potentially many boss fights that we have planned for the full release of Grounded. There's a lot more secrets and other things to uncover.
When we reached 5 million players, that was already super crazy. And then we hit the next milestone of 10 million players still being Xbox.
Doubling it, right?
Yeah, in Xbox Game Preview Early Access.
That just goes to show that we have a fantastic game. Everyone's just so surprised at like how much Grounded has grown.
I just hope that players and the community understand how important they are and impactful on this game with us.
You know, we're so thankful for everyone's support along the way. It's been an amazing journey, and we're finally almost at the finish line, right?
Yeah.
And I think we wouldn't be here without our amazing community and all of the fan support.
I agree. Best
3 months Game Pass for $1.
Yeah.
Grounded. Join 10 million players in the backyard. Full game available September 2022. Xbox consoles, PC, cloud. Behind the scenes, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Jawohl, darauf habe ich gewartet. Flugsimulator. Das wird mein Ding.
Paris Lily.
We're flying to this location. We're on our way. Let's go.
Soaring over Washington, D.C., the Lincoln Memorial, the Capitol. The helicopter lands.
Jorg! Hey, Paris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming to DC, man.
No, thank you. What am I doing
Jorg
here?
Newman.
Let's get in. We don't have much time.
Oh, okay.
Head of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Driving past the Washington Monument.
That's where our contact is.
Also ich will ja keinen zu nahe treten, aber ich finde das ziemlich öde momentan. Ganz ehrlich. Ich dachte, hier werden immer ein paar Sachen gezeigt oder so.
Oh, you'll see. Let's go.
The Air and Space Museum in Dulles, Virginia. Airplanes suspended from the ceilings.
Wow.
Nein, Sanischne, du hast gar nichts verpasst. Die haben auch gar nichts gezeigt. Die babbeln nur. Und zeigen irgendwelche Spiele, die schon gezeigt haben.
National Air and Space Museum.
Thank you for having me. But this makes a lot of sense. I saw during the trailer there was a collaboration between the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum and Flight Simulator. Here we are at the National Air and Space Museum. So let's talk about that collaboration. Tell me more about that.
Well, Jorg and I have been talking for more than a year. He was looking for me, and it turns out I was looking for him to ask the same question, which was, don't you think that our organizations have a lot in common, dedicated to bringing flight to everyone? And
I was looking for the Spirit of St. Louis, which is in the Smithsonian ever since 1928. And the Smithsonian was gracious enough. They gave us a millimeter perfect scan, which is what we'll feature in the 40th anniversary edition. But as Nick and I kept talking, it was very clear, you know, the world's foremost museum for air and space, the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
And Microsoft celebrating its 40th anniversary. It's a match made in heaven, and there's lots of things we can do.
Yeah, authenticity, accuracy, access, it's all there. We're hoping that if everyone has as much fun in the community with the content that we initially collaborated on, a couple of our most historic aircraft, and some of the other aircraft in this center are already in the simulator, maybe we can jump in with both feet and do more in the years to come. Maybe even, who knows, we'll go crazy. We'll put the space shuttle in there.
Moin, Gacho.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
The Space Shuttle Discovery.
All right, you guys have never been here before,
No,
right?
this is my first time.
All right, so keep your eyes peeled, stick together, and Jorg, I've got something special for you around here.
Perfect.
Bin ich müde.
Check this out. This is my favorite plane, the Junkers Ju-52 3-motor. Amazing.
And that is an awesome plane. And as I look at all these planes around here, it makes me ask the question, are you going to put all of them in Flight Sim?
Maybe not all of them, but we hope a lot of them. In the 40th anniversary that comes out this fall, we already have 3. We have the Wright Flyer, the
Wright Brothers Flyer.
DC-3, and we hope to get a few more. As Nick and I were talking, there's a lot of things we could do.
Yeah, we started with the most iconic ones, and who knows? There's no lack of opportunity.
You know, I keep saying amazing because this place is amazing. And just like Flight Sim, it just keeps going. So what else is happening?
It does seem like we're going supersonic, like the Concorde here. We've been doing a major update
Air France, the Concorde.
Since August 2020. And just today, we're actually launching World Update 10. And guess what?
Ich hoffe, ihr fühlt euch alle unterhalten.
And it's huge. We have a dozen cities, a new height field,
Flight Simulator World Update 10.
new airports, new everything.
Available now.
Ich hoffe, ihr genießt euren Popcorn mit eurem Bier oder Cola oder Limonade.
Beechcraft Model 18, they call it the Twin Beach. It's a famous plane, and that's also launched.
Yellow and white.
It's a great coincidence.
So, was haben wir denn? 20 vor 8? Eine Stunde bin ich noch da. Und dann muss ich los. In einer Stunde muss ich los, Mann. Das ist Kacke. Echt Kacke.
Coming up behind the scenes, High on Life.
Wasser. Auf der Arbeit trinkt man auch nicht, ne, Jaco?
And then in November we have the big 40th anniversary.
Du hast gut, Jaco. Ganz schön auf der Arbeit. Weiterschauen.
Okay, that 40th anniversary edition. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we're celebrating by bringing back some of the planes from the old Sims, like from Flight Sim 10, 9, 8, even before that, and we're restoring some of the old missions, and we're bringing back some of the airports that were in those editions. So it's a real celebration of the franchise.
So this celebration is not only of the franchise, but the past as well.
And we're also adding brand new things on top of it, like that the community really wanted. For example, helicopters. My Sobo wrote a brand new fluid dynamics
at the pyramids.
And we're adding
over an oil rig.
A completely different way to experience the planet. It's just you and the wind. And then the last one is we're bringing, it's the biggest deal for Simmers, a brand new real-to-life airliner, the A310 from Airbus, by a brand new partner called Builds, a great development team. In fact, of the 10 planes we're bringing, most of them are created in collaboration with third parties. So it's a really cool way for us to integrate with the creator community.
Now, how do I get this?
If you're on Game Pass, if you already own Flight Sim, the 40th anniversary edition is a free upgrade.
This has just
coming November 2022.
Seeing all these planes and going through the history and everything that's coming to Flight Simulator. I mean, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming to DC. Paris, thank you, Nick, for the great collaboration with the Smithsonian and for kicking off the 40th anniversary edition of Flight Sim. It's been wonderful.
Ja, ist das was für dich, Schnitte? Flugsimulator. Ist das genau dein Ding, oder was? Na, jeder hat ja seinen Geschmack, ich meine, ist ja egal. Ich respektiere jeden Geschmack. Die einen finden es gut, die anderen schlecht, ich meine, jo. Es heißt ja nicht, wenn man ein Spiel nicht mag, dass es schlecht ist, ne? Ich meine, ist halt nicht...
Puts on sunglasses. Top Gun Maverick expansion available now for Microsoft Flight Simulator. FanFest, Madrid, Spain.
Hä, Daniel, was ist denn los? Was meinst du denn? Bist du besoffen oder was?
FanFest. We're here to enjoy the day of FanFest Xbox. I'm very excited.
I came in Madrid just yesterday.
I came to Madrid yesterday to be here in FanFest.
War das ein Kerl oder eine Frau?
I'm so excited.
Hat auf jeden Fall weibliche Züge gehabt. Egal, ich mache mich jetzt lustig über die Leute. Ich muss mal hier ein bisschen Unterhaltung reinbringen. Oh. Nee, ich liebe es nicht. Nee. Oh, Hideo Miyazaki. Nee, Kojima. Kojima Production. Sag du mal jetzt mal irgendein Metal... Nee, Metal Gear geht ja nicht. Konami hat die scheiß Rechte.
Fans using controllers. It's like a family for me. It was amazing. It was a wonderful show with a great ending.
Und warum haben wir jetzt Untertitel auf einmal? Ist das jetzt eine Frau oder ein Kerl?
Sign up as an Xbox FanFest fan. Xbox.com/fanfest.
Auf geht's, jetzt zeig mal hier die Spiele, Mann.
High on life.
Ich komme jetzt voll in Stimmung. So, die drei Nerds. Die drei Nerds sind wieder da.
Action-Adventure, Comedy, Metroidvania, First-Person Shooter that is nothing at all, a little bit like Microsoft Excel.
All right, you're a bounty hunter now. You gotta help me rescue my friends. They're Gatlians, just like me.
Colorful characters.
Also Metal Gear ist genial. Metal Gear Solid finde ich super geil.
High on life.
Das letzte Spiel von ihm habe ich nicht gespielt, weil das nichts für mich war. Dieses Postboten-Ding, Simulator. Und das letzte Metal Gear Solid fand ich auch nicht so überragend, aber die anderen Metal Gear-Dinger waren alle genial. Metal Gear 1, 2, Snake Eater, Metal Gear 4, aber danach nichts mehr.
I lack all the skills needed.
You don't know how
other
games
than
work.
other than like creative direction, creative ideas. Like other than that, I lack all the skills to execute.
But that's why, like, that's part of why you want to start Squanch, right? Is like to be able to have an idea like that and let it grow to something amazing.
And to be able to be creatively free. I wanted to make games that I wanted to play, and that was sort of the spark that just lit the fire of Squanch Games, and then.
Daniel, Kehrmaschinen-Simulator, das kannst du eigentlich gut gebrauchen auf der Arbeit, oder? Du bist doch in der Dings.
Legit swing,
naja, egal.
Like a proper, you know, like we're indie, but like this is like our AAA, like, or is it triple I for indie?
We're triple I.
Triple I. Triple I.
So the story of our game mostly follows like
Geiler Hemd, geiles Hemd.
This evil
Würde ich mir gerne auch anziehen. Was ist denn das?
Aliens who come in and kidnap humans and start selling them on the black market.
Xbox Design.
And you're the one human who has to team up with
auf
a
dem
Tommy
Hemd.
gun and stop them.
And when you select a cartel leader that you're going to go after, like it opens the portal door to that world that they're in.
Behind the scenes. Coming up next.
Oh Gott, kann mich jemand virtuell erschießen oder so? Echt? Ohne Scheiß.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time constructing and creating these awesome alien
Gibt es so einen virtuellen Schuss?
And Mikey Spano, who is our art director, him and I worked like a ton on the sort of art direction of the game. He really kind of landed in this space, which was kind of Blade Runner meets the Muppets. So we're trying to capture that feeling with all of our characters, especially our aliens. And then each world is its own kind of unique flavor, right? I think some of the ideas came from very
Ja, gell, Jack. Da sind wir wenigstens einer Meinung. Nicht wie beim Kojima. Da sind wir einer Meinung, Mann. Ich mache hier gerade die Bewegung, die El Bandi mal gemacht hat. Mit seinen Fingern an die Stirn und dann abdrücken. Piu! Mit dem Dolmen-Sound. Piu! Habe ich gerade gemacht. Hätte ich jetzt eine Webcam, hättet ihr das gesehen. Wie ich mich gerade selber virtuell erschossen habe. Abschuss.
Each has their own unique personality, their unique set of abilities, and you're going to be rescuing them from this evil alien cartel, and together, you got to stop the bad
Ja,
guys.
ich sag ja immer wieder, Nova.
Collect more Gatlians.
Das heißt ja nicht, wenn man ein Spiel nicht gut findet, dass es schlecht ist. Ist halt für einen, sagt halt einem nicht zu, ne? Man guckt, der Jack, der findet Kojima auch nicht toll. Das heißt halt nicht aber, dass die Spiele schlecht sind. Ist bei mir genauso. Ich habe dieses Death Stranding auch nicht gemocht. Ich konnte auch mit Dings nichts anfangen, zum Beispiel. Hellpoint habe ich angefangen, aber das Level war nichts für mich. Kam ich halt nicht klar, Mann. Das heißt aber nicht, dass das Spiel schlecht ist. Ist halt so. Wir haben unsere Geschmäcker. Die einen stehen auf Shooter-Spiele. Ich kann absolut damit nichts anfangen. Das heißt aber nicht, dass es schlecht ist. Gell, Jacko? Jacko mag das ja. Ich nicht. Ich mag's nicht.
Yeah, like if a player's trying to break the game in a certain way and then you have an answer for that for them, that is like such a memorable and amazing moment. It's almost like watching TV, but the viewer is able to reach into the TV and poke a thing, and the character has to respond to that. And there's so much fun to be had for the
You can
most
skip
part.
it all. We worked really hard on it.
Ich wiederum mag auch hier die Show gerade nicht, die turnt voll ab. Was heißt turnt voll ab? Fuckt voll ab. Aber es gibt bestimmt den einen oder anderen im Chat, der das jetzt gerade liebt, diese Dreierunterhaltung von den 3 Typen.
Definitely play it. October 2022, console launch exclusive.
Ja, zeig dir jetzt mal was.
Sumo Nottingham.
Na also.
Dark deserted house. Exploring the doors. Breaking through a window.
Breaking for Window. Was ist denn das für ein Typ, der da im Hintergrund redet?
A man with a sword chases a young woman. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a multiplayer horror game, coming 2023. Play it day one with Game Pass. Behind the scenes, Pentiment. A narrative adventure most unexpected from Obsidian Entertainment.
Pentiment is a narrative adventure game set in 16th century Bavaria, which is part of the Holy Roman Empire. You play a character named Andreas Mahler, who is an artist working at a Benedictine abbey.
Was war das überhaupt ein Kommentar jetzt von dem Typen? Breaking the Window. Ein Mann mit einer Kettensäge, der die Frau hinterherläuft.
What's going on in here?
Hat er jetzt die Stimmung so krass hochgemacht? Wow.
There's an older painting underneath the painting that you see on the top. And if you scrape away the top layer, you see what was left behind. This has a bunch of significance. Obviously, you're playing a painter, but also it has a lot of significance to the idea of history kind of being covered and uncovered over time.
Pentiment.
Pentiment.
A leather-bound book.
Sorry, dass ich jetzt so rumhalber.
I was inspired to make a historical game that focused on
Ein Mann, der durch die Schafherde durchläuft. Ein dicker Mann mit einem Huhn links davon.
Andreas strolling through a village.
Andreas Waller's Village.
Pentiment, especially blending the late medieval illuminated manuscripts with the early modern woodcuts.
Yeah, so there's a lot of major points to solve and kind of marry between wanting this.
Hannah, das wollte ich sagen, ich schwör's dir. Was ist denn das? Das wollte ich sagen, Hannah Kennedy.
As far as the narrative, but also thinking about the types of games that were like what we
Hannah Kennedy mit ihrem Goldkettchen und mit ihrer Ökojacke. Ein Mann mit einem Controller.
Behind the scenes as dusk falls.
Behind the scenes as the dusk falls.
Over time, which meant that characters are changing over time. That's really the focus of everything. The buildings do change, but really it's the characters where you see all the crazy stuff happen.
Kids that I had become attached to because it's a 4-year-old and we designed them to be a 4-year-old and then they're getting married and then I felt a weird like emotional reaction to that because I'm like, oh, baby's all grown up.
A child character, an older child, a woman.
A woman. Lügen, Intrigien.
I think the 16th century has always been really interesting to me because it was a time of such social upheaval in Europe.
Ja, hau rein, Jaco. Wirst sowieso nichts verpassen.
I think when we look at social change in the past, it seems like it's a thing that always happens outside of our time.
Ketzerei.
But right now, I think we're maybe more aware than ever that social change is happening constantly, and people are always struggling with it. It's always a difficult process. And so I hope that by looking at people from the past, we can see that even though the setting might be different and the specific issues might be different, ultimately we always struggle with social change.
Day One im Game Pass.
Pentiment, Xbox consoles, PC, Cloud, November 2022.
Alles klar, danke, dass du mir alles
Behind
vorlesen
the
tust.
scenes as dusk falls.
Just putting on this bandana.
All right, let's do crime.
It's such a bad idea.
All you had to do was keep your mouth shut.
I'm gonna override this.
Is your life mission to cause harm?
Yeah. This is my favorite shot of the whole game. This one.
Desert Dream Motel.
What we're trying to do is to make a brilliant interactive experience for anyone who loves brilliant storytelling. So people who enjoy films, people who enjoy TV series. It's also a social experience and about sharing these stories with the people you love.
I think we should stick to the plan.
Yeah, stick to the plan.
I took my inspiration from TV shows, prestige shows like, Breaking Bad.
Die Frau erinnert mich an irgendjemanden, aber ich weiß nicht wen.
Day Afternoon. It's such a wonderful setup.
You try that again, and every last one of them leaves in a body bag.
When you write for interactive stories, it's all about the stakes. You want big choices, the tentpole ones that everyone will remember from the chapter they played, but also you weave in the smaller stakes, the drama bit, like the relationships. Are you gonna stay married?
When you lost your job, this wall went up, and I missed you, okay?
The game deals with very mature themes that you don't normally find in a video game. It really gives you agency over characters that are relatable, that are familiar to you. It's like an interactive story, but with the power of video game behind it.
I only gotta yell and my brothers will come. Now hold your horses, young man. I think you should at least listen to what I have to say.
In the first book, it's mainly structured around a hostage situation in a motel in the middle
Ja, Nova,
of
bitte.
Arizona,
Ja.
so it's a pressure cooker.
You want your wife
Hast du was auf dem Herzen?
Answer and do exactly what I say.
Book 2 takes another approach entirely, and it's a chase across multiple states in the US.
There's nowhere else to run.
As Dusk Falls is an interactive show, but the important part here is
Das
the
letzte Mal vor gut einer Woche,
players
ne?
are very much needed
Bei
to
State
help
of
the
Play war das, oder?
character
Straight.
on their journey and decide what's going to happen to them, help them
Das mit der
grow and
Katze, ne, meinst du ja?
It's not like there's one golden path. There's so
Ja,
many different ways
habe ich
to
gesehen,
decide.
ja.
You can replay it, and then you get to like different story and different ending, and you
May
like,
Wong.
you're actually achieving something and shaping the story. And
Ja, ja,
also
habe ich
the
gesehen.
character.
Some of your true self comes out into that thinking.
I don't know, what would you do? I'll try to.
Das ist doch im Dings mit drin, oder? Ist das nicht im PS Plus mit dabei?
And it reveals
Also in dem neuen
something
PS
about
Plus
the
ist es
player
mit dabei?
themselves, their values and the way they interact with the others that they played with.
I think for me, one of the really important things was that this art style could tell lots of different types of stories. We want to take really beautiful, sort of subtle facial performances, really strong dramatic moments, and just really represent that such that every frame is a painting.
It's a single player and multiplayer experience, so 1 to 8 players.
Because we wanted to draw in people who weren't necessarily gamers. Gamers are going to love this game as well because it's a very mature, in-depth story. But this game really taps into your life skills rather than your gamer skills, puts everyone on a level playing field. You did well there, that is a ferocious dog.
Oh, Charlie, You share the same character. You discuss,
Ja, schauen wir mal, wie gut das wird.
and majority wins. It's like
Ich habe das Spielprinzip noch nicht so verstanden, glaube ich. Ich habe mir den Trailer aber schon gesehen, ja, ja. Hat mir, glaube ich, sogar auch einen Livestream gehabt, ne, als der Trailer rauskam.
I can't believe we're just like so close, touching distance to this game. Yeah, I'm gonna miss it when it's done.
The 3 characters of As Dusk Falls. Experience solo or multiplayer, up to 8 players. Coming July 19, Xbox consoles, PC, cloud.
Let's check out what mysteries, adventures, and, of course, slimes are waiting for us in the new, vibrant world of Slime Rancher 2.
Monomi Park. A character. Hello, I'm Victor Humphreys, and I'm excited to, well, I'm actually quite nervous to introduce you to the world of Slime Rancher 2. I'm not a scientist, not a public speaker. Ahem. In this all-new adventure, Beatrice sets off to explore Rainbow Island, a prismatic paradise brimming with ancient technology, unknown natural resources, and an avalanche of wiggly new slimes to wrangle. The conservatory is your new home away from home on Rainbow Island. It has everything a rancher needs to keep slimes well-fed and happy. Coming up behind the scenes, Hot Wheels coming to Forza. Scenes from Slime Rancher 2. With work out of the way, it's time to go out and explore. Starlight Strand.
Oh mein Gott. Ich guck ja gar nicht mal hin. Fast.
How dramatic.
Ich guck ja da. Ich guck nur auf die Uhr. Ich habe Nachtschicht, Jack, noch 6 Tage. Ja, bis Sonntag noch. Also Sonntag auf Montag ist meine letzte Nachtschicht. Ich habe gestern angefangen. Hab 7 Tage am Stück Nachtschicht. Ich kann auch nur noch 40 Minuten hier online bleiben. Da muss ich schon fast los. Leider. Und die haben nur Scheiße gezeigt, übrigens. Übrigens, ich habe dir eine Nachricht geschickt, Jack. Über PSN. Also die nächsten 3-4 Wochen sind ziemlich hart. Ja, wegen Personalmangel. Ich habe echt beschissene Schichten die nächsten 4 Wochen. Ich habe teilweise 9 Tage am Stück. Und habe dazwischen echt nur wenig frei. Das wird ziemlich hart. Jo, und danach habe ich eigentlich Urlaub. Nach 4 Wochen. Nächsten Monat, wann machen das überhaupt? Keine Ahnung. Auf jeden Fall habe ich dann Urlaub. Geplant ist, ob ich da mitgehe, weiß ich nicht. Aber nach Österreich. Nach Wien. Gleich auch nur die Frau und die Kinder. Gehen vielleicht nach Wien. Vielleicht gehe ich noch ein paar Tage mit. Und dann komme ich wieder zurück. Und die bleiben dort. Und dann habe ich hier 4 Wochen. 4 Wochen Urlaub. Aber wir haben Sommerloch. Und ja, gucken wir mal. Auf jeden Fall sind die nächsten 3-4 Wochen ziemlich sehr, sehr eng. Weil ich meistens nur auf der Arbeit bin.
The vehicle takes off. An airport. An airplane. Taxis. And lifts off.
Welcome back to Melbourne.
FanFest, Melbourne, Australia.
Get ready for the showcase.
Sign up as an Xbox FanFest fan. Xbox.com/FanFest. Melbourne, Australia. Gaming for everyone. Fans watch scenes from games. Larry gets his selfie taken with a fan. Sign up as an Xbox FanFest fan at xbox.com/fanfest.
Leah, you're in Melbourne with FanFest.
Nee, nicht Jack Person. Der Jack wohnt doch gar nicht in Wien.
So excited to tell you all about Forza Horizon 5.
Du kannst Facebook. Da habe ich ein Profilbild. Wenn du meinen Namen eingibst. Warte, ich guck.
Our fans have been telling us for years about how much they loved Forza Horizon.
Wenn du Facebook hast, natürlich.
So we've been waiting for the right time to bring everyone another Hot Wheels adventure. Forza Horizon 5 presented the perfect opportunity to bring Hot Wheels to life like never before with the power of the Xbox Series X and S.
It really does sound like the perfect time for Forza Horizon and Hot Wheels. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what to expect being in the clouds of Mexico this time.
Yes, you travel to the clouds above Mexico to visit the Hot Wheels Park, which is comprised of over 200 kilometers of the fastest, most extreme tracks yet. Once there, you'll join the Hot Wheels Academy and set out to take on Forza Horizon's most extreme racing yet and prove yourself a Hot Wheels legend.
Let's go.
Komm, ich blende euch das ein. Aber nur ganz kurz. Nein, ich blende euch das nicht ein. Okay, warte. Wo sind denn hier meine Fotos auf Facebook? Ich schaue mir das gerade selber an. Okay, ich zeige euch das. Warte, ich guck mal, ob ich das... Oh, er hat das schon weggemacht. Scheiße, nein. Oh Mann, wieso macht er hier meinen Stream weg? Ach Mann, oh Mann. Wieso? Warte, ihr kriegt gleich wieder Bild, weil ich so schlau war und habe hier das Ding weggemacht. Sorry. Sorry, man. Ihr bekommt gleich wieder Foto. Warte, da haben wir es doch. So, wo haben wir denn hier? Facebook. Komm. Forza Horizon interessiert jemanden? Keine Ahnung. So, wo habe ich hier mein Facebook? Da bin ich. Wo sind meine Fotos? Nee, da nicht. Da bin ich übrigens. Ich will keinen, ja. Verlasse den Scheiß, Mann. Meine Fotos. Also, ich bin hier, der hier bin ich. Da bin ich. Seht ihr mich überhaupt? Warte mal. Ja. Der hier bin ich hier. Das bin ich. Das war meine erste Klasse. Und so wie das immer ist, ne? Damals, keine Ahnung, wann waren das? 85? Ja, könnte so 84 sein. Da war ich 6 Jahre, erste Klasse. Und ich als einziger Türke, nee, das war auch ein Türke, haben die keine so eine Wundertüte gehabt. Ziemlich peinlich, ne? Ja, das bin ich. Jetzt wisst ihr, wie ich ausschaue. Ne? Was haben wir noch? Das war noch meine Jugend hier. Aber so sehe ich aktuell aus. Da bin ich. Jetzt habt ihr mich. Jetzt könnt ihr deabonnieren, Leute. Deabonniert mich. Ist okay. Jetzt könnt ihr mich deabonnieren. Alles klar, jetzt habt ihr mich gesehen. Scheiße, jetzt habe ich mich geoutet. Fuck. Oh Mann, scheiße. Oh, ich sehe schon die ganzen D-Abos. Scheiße, ich bin ja schon auf 600 runtergefallen. Fuck, Mann, scheiße, Mann. Ja, hier bin ich voll auf Dings. Oh Mann, die ganzen D-Abos. Ja, da bin ich. Ja, wahrscheinlich hast du mich vorgestellt mit blonden Haaren. Ne? Nein, so bin ich nicht. Ich habe keine blonden Haaren. Ich habe mir die schwarz gefärbt. Also, wie sagt man, brünett? Ich hab mir die Haare brünett gefärbt. Moin, Doberman. Ich mache mir die Haare so wie sie. Gelbe Haare.
Included in the premium add-ons bundle.
Ja, so bin ich. Ich bin Baujahr 78, bin hier in Deutschland, Frankfurt geboren, aufgewachsen, in die Schule gegangen, ohne Wundertüte. Ich habe nie eine Wundertüte gehabt. Das beschäftigt mich immer noch so. Wenn ich irgendwann mal Amok laufen sollte draußen, dann würde ich sagen, ja, weil ich als kleines Kind keine Wundertüte hatte bei der Einschulung. Das hat mich damals schon mitgenommen und ich habe, ja, deswegen habe ich eine Erkrankung dadurch bekommen. Ja, deswegen bin ich Amok gelaufen. Genau deswegen. Nur weil ich keine blöde, beschissene Wundertüte hatte. Ja, so ist das halt. Kann's nicht leider ändern. Und ich habe auch nie einen Kindergarten besucht, leider. Deswegen habe ich auch hier Probleme mit dem Lesen. Immer wieder. Weil ich habe diese Erziehung im Kindergarten habe ich nie genossen. Ich kam dann direkt in die erste Klasse rein, weil meine Eltern haben mich nicht in den Kindergarten geschickt. Damals. Ich bin, wie gesagt, 78 geboren. Und kam dann direkt in die Schule, ohne irgendwelche Deutschkenntnisse und so. Ne? Ich habe die immer noch nicht. Das hakt immer noch. Ziemlich krass ist das. Ich erzähle einfach jetzt mal. Scheiß auf die Game Show. Wem interessiert das überhaupt? Da kommen eh noch Kackspiele raus. Ja, dann war ich dann in der ersten Klasse, ohne Deutschkenntnisse. Ich habe natürlich nur Bahnhof verstanden und so weiter. Ja, und da bin ich auch nicht lange geblieben in der normalen Klasse. Die haben mich dann in eine Sprachschule geschickt. In eine Sprachbehindertenschule. Ja, die hieß halt so, die ist wirklich so, Sprachbehindertenschule hieß die. Ja, und da war ich dann 3 Jahre, beziehungsweise ich war da 4 Jahre und irgendwann in den 4 Jahren konnte ich auch wieder flüssig Deutsch sprechen und lesen. Das konnte ich früher, mittlerweile nicht mehr wieder. Und ja, und so, das ist mein Leidensweg. So, jetzt wisst ihr alles über mich. Und jetzt könnt ihr mich wieder deabonnieren.
Everyone on the planet's played Minecraft at this point, but that wasn't enough for you all. You all went and made
So ist das.
Minecraft Dungeons, and now we're moving on to the recently revealed
Okay,
Minecraft Legends.
also aktuell läuft noch die geile Game
About
Show
what it means for the team to
und
actually be able to reveal
das
the
ist bis
game,
jetzt das
and then
Beste, was
let us
es
know what
gab
Minecraft Legends
in
is.
diesem
Well, we are
Jahr.
so excited to finally be able to talk about this game with the world. We've been working on this game for some time now. Minecraft Legends is an action strategy game. Is set in the
So ist das.
Minecraft universe. And in order to build this, we
Ja,
really
so
wanted
Webcam
to
und so,
partner with a great
weiß
company
nicht,
that
also ist nicht so
understands strategy
mein
games.
Ding. Ich
And
möchte
so
gerne
that's
nicht
when we reached
beim
out with
Streamen mein
Blackbird
Gesicht
Interactive.
zeigen.
And
Ich bin ein
in
sehr
doing so,
schüchterner
we
Mensch
were able to
und
create
ja,
an
nee, ich weiß nicht. Das
experience
wird, glaube ich, nichts für
that
mich, so
is
Webcam-mäßig.
welcoming for, people who may have not played Minecraft, but also people who have. And I mean, you've seen the trailer. It's about going and traveling
Bin mal in einer
through
Minute
these
wieder da.
beautiful biomes, exploring this world that is familiar yet still mysterious. And so as you explore these lush biomes, you collect resources, and then you use those resources to build defenses from these dangerous but very cute piglins. And in those offensive, you're able to fight them back and send them back to where they come from. And you know what? You're going to probably want to build some alliances with some unexpected friends because they're going to help you actually defeat the piglins and send them back to where they come from.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, and I love what you said about trying to make a game that's both for fans of Minecraft that exist and new fans coming in. Minecraft can go in so many different directions, I feel like, with a new game. What made you choose action strategy?
Well, really, it was many years ago, as a group of folks at Mojang sitting around talking about what game genres they really enjoy. And action and strategy were the most popular ones that came up. And so we started to think about who we
So,
could
da bin
partner
ich
with
wieder.
to build that experience.
Ich habe
And that's
wahrscheinlich
when
nichts
we
verpasst.
came into Blackbird Interactive. And that was back in 2018. And, the project
Was haben wir
was
denn hier?
codenamed Badger. And an interesting little fact for many of those people that might follow Minecraft, if you go back to Minecon 2018 and you look at the shirt that Jens Berenstain was wearing, you'll see a graphic on there, and it's in the shape of a badger head.
Nee, ich kann gar
And
nicht so
really,
gut
that was meant
Türkisch.
to be an Easter egg for years
Ich habe einen Akzent.
forward, which
Ich
here
kann
we are
weder
now.
Deutsch noch Türkisch.
I gotta say, I love a good Easter egg. Now, where would you say that Minecraft
Hab dir eine
Legends fits
Anfrage
in the
geschickt,
overall
Soli, okay?
Minecraft universe?
Warte.
Well, the Minecraft universe is just always growing and
Ach so, in
expanding.
Facebook?
And if
Okay,
it's
ja,
not
gut.
from our partner
Nehme ich dann an,
communities, then
gleich.
it's from Mojang specifically. Like you mentioned,
Ich will nicht die Seite wechseln, damit ich hier nicht die 100.000 Zuschauer sehen, wie du heißt auf Facebook, und dich nicht voll spammen. Jack, kannst du mal bitte Dark Souls 2 Platin Playthrough machen? So ungefähr. Nein, war nur Spaß. Aber wollte ich mal loswerden. Will auch mal witzig sein. Ich mache echt keine guten Witze, aber manchmal versuche ich das und lache über meine eigenen Witze.
Dennis, I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends. You can
Wann
share
kommt
with
denn
me in
endlich
the
ein Dark Souls 2 Platin
Okay,
Playthrough?
I won't pry anymore, but tell us when the game is coming out and when we
Scheiße.
can keep up to date.
Oh Mann.
It's coming out in 2023 on PC and console on Xbox Game Pass. And if you want to know more, just follow us Twitter or jump on Minecraft.net.
Dennis, I'm
At
so excited to
Legends
jump into
_game.
Minecraft Legends. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us the lowdown.
Thanks for having me.
Every day, ja.
FanFest Toronto, Canada.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Kirsten, aka K-Von Doom, and we're here at Xbox Fan Fest. We got a whole lot for y'all to check out, so let's get it in.
Sign up as an Xbox FanFest fan. Xbox.com/FanFest. Players watch games on a big screen.
Ja, oh ja, oh ja. Das war doch mal ein Highlight jetzt, oder? Meine Sympathiepunkte sind jetzt gerade gestiegen bei Microsoft. Um 1 Punkt. Davon bitte mehr.
Nails done as the Xbox logo.
Dynamite and come on, Diablo 4. Oh, it's so why are you so gruesome? All bloody things. No, but it's great. I love it.
What a day we had today. Thank you everybody for showing up to Xbox Fan Fest Toronto. Had a lot of fun, saw a lot of games, great experiences overall. Catch you in the next one.
Alright, man. Auf geht's. Machen wir was jetzt. Bitte. Hollow Knight.
From around the world, they are changing the game. Unique culture creates unique vision. Coming up, interview with Sarah Bond, Tiny Kim, Splash Team France, Spiderheck, Never Jam, Latvia, A Perfect Day Studio, China, Autonauts, Denki, UK, Wrestling with Emotions, Team Laserbeam, South Africa.
Hör doch mal auf, Mann. Wieso kaufen wir uns Next-Gen-Konsolen, Mann?
Hogs, Regular Studio, Brazil.
Brazil ist bei mir unten durch nach Dolmen.
Colombia.
Brazil, gibt keine Brazil-Spiele mehr. Ja, gell? Der ist so krass, der im Hintergrund. Hab ich ja vorhin auch gesagt, der kommentiert immer nur so Mist.
Yukio,
Der könnte glatt ich sein, ne?
Cabaret. Theory, Malaysia. Suppot.
Support.
Club, Philippines.
Slime Heroes.
Pancake Games, United States. Lonesome Village, Ogre Pixel, Mexico.
Das ist echt ein Witz, ne?
YB, Australia, Ukraine. Hollow Knight, Silk Song, Team Cherry, Australia. This is ID at Xbox.
I'm joined now by Sarah Bond, who leads the gaming ecosystem organization here at Xbox. Sarah, it's so great to have you.
Danke, GGH.
Awesome to be here and so
Thanks,
good
man.
to see you too.
Yes, I'm super excited for this conversation because as we know, game creators are crucial to Xbox's success. And whenever you talk about them, it's with such like passion and tenacity. I love it. And it sounds super important to you and the rest of Team Xbox. So my question to you is, how do creators inspire the work that you and your team do?
The creators are just the bedrock of everything we do on my team. You know, when you really think about it.
Ja, Leute, ich habe nur noch 25 Minuten Zeit, gell? Den Rest müsst ihr dann weiter woanders schauen, weil ich muss in 25 Minuten aufhören.
And that's really the bedrock of our
Leider.
industry, of what motivates us, is to help those people, those developers, bring their stories out. And we think about it in three ways. You know, how do we create a
Ich hatte eigentlich gehofft, dass ungefähr so 1,5 Stunden dauert, dass sie mal so geile Games zeigen, so nacheinander und nicht so viel babbeln, aber ja. Tja, da kann man leider nichts machen. Deswegen heißt es ja auch Xbox Game Show und nicht State of Play. Jetzt habe ich die Xbox-User alle verärgert. Tut mir leid, Leute. Es tut mir wirklich leid.
Choices, and it's increasing these choices for not only the developers but the players themselves as well.
Yeah.
For example, you and your team just announced a new feature that's going to bring game demos to players. Can you tell us a little bit more about Project Moorcroft?
Project Moorcroft. I know. I love these project names. I wish they would just let me name it, but
yeah,
they
just
won't.
Say it.
I know.
You
They won't.
Can we change that?
Well, look, we were sitting around as a team and we were thinking about some of the things that we've always loved the most about the gaming industry. And one of them was, remember when you would go to like a show like PAX or E3, and you would go to the show floor and you get to play a demo or a piece of a game, and the developer would be right there next to you, talking to you about their experience, asking you to try things out, asking you your feedback. And that was one of the things I loved the most about those experiences. We just don't have them as much anymore, you know, in the way that the world has evolved. And so we thought, gosh, how can we make Game Pass like that? Like, how can we use the power of Game Pass and all of the great discovery and player engagement that is in it and have it create for creators that opportunity to engage with fans early as they're creating their game, and also for players to get to experience something that they're really anticipating. And so that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to have a program that enables developers to take a piece, a level of their game, and put it into Game Pass so that they can get that great feedback and players can engage with them. And we know it's a lot of work sometimes for developers to do that, so we're also going to compensate them for their participation in the program. I'm so excited for what's going to come.
Halt doch mal deine Hände still, ich möchte mal deine Fingernägel anschauen.
Is that connection, right? And now that we are able to come back into conferences and stuff like that, we still need to deepen it because by deepening that connection, you're diversifying the voices, and then that in
Also die linke Dame, ich glaube, die knabbert an ihren Fingernägeln.
So how will Microsoft
Ja,
help to further that
das sieht man. Habe ich auch früher gemacht, aber mittlerweile aufgehört. Schon seit über, keine Ahnung, 15 Jahren vielleicht. Das ist nicht leicht aufzuhören, wenn man an den Fingernägeln knabbert. Und was mit dir, meine Holde? Sag doch mal. Lass doch mal deine Finger mal still.
So the importance of everyone having an equal opportunity to share their story
IM44.
game and what it means to shaping our perceptions, to what we talk about, to what we believe, to broadening our perspectives is critical. And we think about that all the time. So what we've done as a team is we're continuing to expand the set of developers who we're engaging with and bringing them into the Xbox
Nova, du bist ja
ecosystem. We've actually more
79.
than doubled the number of developers that are making games for Xbox, and we saw lots of those games in the last day, which has been pretty cool. And the other thing that we did
Wir sind alle alt hier. Auf dem Kanal sind wir alle schon über 30. Ich glaube, der Jacko ist jung.
specifically dedicated to working with creators in the region.
Jacko ist, glaube ich, paar 20, oder?
for creators who are interested in
Unser junger
starting
Spund.
in the industry?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. People
Gacho.
say to me, "Gosh,
Entschuldigung,
I'd
nicht Jacko.
really like
Gacho.
to be part of the gaming industry. I'd love to make a game. How do I break through?
Gacho ist hier unser
I say, first of
Jüngster.
all, network. Talk to people, meet people, connect with people. Just how you and I connected actually at an industry event, which we met at, which was super fun. You know,
Ach so,
build
schon
that
30, okay,
network
ja
and that
gut.
connectivity, 'cause
Aber noch
it's
nicht.
so critical in every industry,
Noch hast du
but I
noch eine
think
2 davor.
particularly in gaming, right? You know, go to industry conferences like GDC, meet people, learn, try that out. And if you're interested in making a game for Xbox, you can actually go to github.com. You can actually download the Xbox Game Developer Kit and get started.
GitHub.com/Microsoft/GDK.
GitHub.com GGG. Visit Xbox.
Xbox.com/ID.
If you actually want to get involved in the industry, all companies are great, but I highly recommend you check out coming to work at Xbox. I'm biased, obviously.
I mean, hey, you have every right to be so. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. And also, thank you to all the viewers for tuning into Extended. We've heard from so many amazing developers on today's show. Now, before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
We were talking earlier about the importance of people being able to tell their story.
Ja, die Dame, die ist auch schon über
Incredibly
40.
powerful it is. I mean, when we were talking about that, I was thinking about an experience we've had as a team that's been very touching for me. So, you know, a couple years ago, we started really consciously extending the depth and breadth of content that we have in the Xbox ecosystem. And it
So,
was
Leute,
through
kann mich
that
einer
I got to
erschießen
know
oder
the
so?
team
Geht das?
making Stalker
So ein
2
virtueller Schuss, bitte?
really well. And I actually got to intro that game.
Oh, Stalker, jawohl, da ist es, Gacho. Stalker, Mann. Das ist dein Spiel.
And you know, the thing was, when I was looking at that game last year, and I was looking at the story that they were telling, and they were
Da
talking
ist
about
das
the beauty
ist
of
das
the
Spiel.
land, and
Stalker.
their dedication to their culture,
Das darauf
and their
wartet Jaco.
country.
Gacho.
And I thought,
Entschuldigung.
wow, this is a
Ich
cool
spreche
game.
immer deinen
This is a
Namen falsch
compelling
aus.
story. But sitting here today, you know, recognizing that that team is Ukrainian, they were based in Kiev, looking at that story and what they were showing to the world just feels entirely different and far more poignant and visceral to me. You know, this is a team who's talking about their culture, talking about fighting for the existence of being a nation, of being a people, of having their own language. And now we all, as a world, have gotten to see how tenuous that, in fact, is. And it's an honor, frankly, to be part of this industry and to have the opportunity to uplift their voices and to let their story be told through a gaming experience, especially knowing what we know now about the situation in Ukraine. And as part of that, they actually shared with us something that they wanted us to share with all of you today as part of the show.
Viewer discretion is advised. The following video may contain content.
Nein, das war
that
Spaß.
viewers
Ich bin
may find
1,70.
disturbing.
Ich glaube 1,73 oder so.
Stalker 2. The city of Kyiv. motion capture actors, creative teams at work.
Schaut sich eigentlich einer überhaupt den Stream noch an oder reden wir hier nur, ja? Also.
Kyiv, February 24th. Explosions. In the distance and beside a highway. Airpen. A small child in a playground.
Ich bin der Kleinste, ja.
Playground destroyed.
Aber es kommt nicht auf die Länge an, ne? Das weißt du ja. Nova?
Destroyed buildings. Refugees leaving, bundled with
Das kommt nicht auf die Länge an. Aber das sagen immer die meisten Leute, die einen kleinen haben. Und die dickeren Leute sagen immer, es kommt auf die inneren Werte an. Okay, ich halt's Maul. Ich habe auch ein bisschen zugenommen in letzter Zeit. Muss mal wieder abspecken.
This is my cat's carrier bag. My cat died in the shelling in the first week of the war. We have air raid sirens around the clock. I work, then go for walks like this. Destroyed buildings. This is my office space now. A bathroom. For 3 months I live and work in this corridor. A one-eyed dog rescued from Hostomel lives with me. It's not easy to write violent quests when there's a war outside your window. We not only continued our work, we became volunteers as well. Here's where I work between the sirens and my volunteer work. We'll share our amazing culture and our great game with the world. My name is Alexander. I am an animator at GSC. I am from Mariupol. Since the start of the war, I've had no contact with my parents. A decimated area. It is an indescribable feeling not knowing whether your loved ones are alive. Many of our colleagues joined the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine. I'm Dmitry Anasovna. I never imagined a war in Europe in the 21st century. I'm Alexei Ivanov, community manager. I'm defending my country from the Russian aggressors. My name is Max. I'm a narrative designer on Stalker 2. After our victory, we'll see you at release. Slava Ukraine. This is just a small fraction of our story. Many of our colleagues are currently unable to publicly share their experiences. Support Ukraine. In blue and yellow.
Machst du das wirklich, Jack? Mach das. Ich hab eh Nachtschicht. Ich schau zu. Bis 6 Uhr morgens bin ich dabei.
A dark screen. A spotlight.
Last question, Dr. Dallin. Are you sure the perimeter surrounding the zone is really enough? If a powerful emission were to occur, we would...
Listen, the zone has
from above.
Stable for years. Besides, we didn't
shining
the most advanced institution
on terrain
without first guaranteeing its safety. As the head of the Scientific Institute for Research of the Chernobyl area, or CIRCA for short, I believe the wonders that we will bring to the world.
Jo, hau rein, mach das. Also ich bin auch, wenn du willst, nachher dabei, wenn du das machst.
The zone reveals a whole new world. We can stick with the old one.
Ich bin auf jeden Fall dabei. Bin auf jeden Fall ab 22 Uhr dabei. Sogar früher. Sogar früher.
A lightning strike. Car's headlights.
Also es tut mir leid zu sagen, aber die Game Show 1,5 Stunden momentan, die ist ja so schlecht. Es tut mir leid für die Xbox-Fans. Die ist scheiße, Mann. Es tut mir wirklich leid. Ich will euch nicht zu nahe treten. Aber das ist so kacke, ist das. Und ich habe gedacht, nach dieser PC-Game-Show kann eigentlich nichts mehr übertreffen. Aber doch, das hat's wirklich getan. Es hat's wirklich getan. Nochmal. Und innerhalb so kurzer Zeit. Ich dachte, der Rekord von dem PC-Game-Show hält lange, lange Jahre an. Aber nein, das hat gerade mal 2 Tage gehalten. Wahnsinn. Hätte ich gar nicht gedacht. Ich hätte meinen Arsch verwettet. Ich hätte meinen linken Hoden verwettet, dass das lange anhält. Nein, das hat echt nicht lange angehalten. Wenigstens haben wir beim PC Game Show ein Souls-like-Spiel gesehen, an dessen Namen ich mich nicht erinnern kann. Aber trotzdem war da etwas, ein kleines Souls-like. Game Pass. Egal, Hauptsache Game Pass. Danke. Probieren wir aus. Thanks for... Nein.
Showcase extended. The Xbox logo on a story background, the moon.
Echt jetzt?
The sun's corona gleams.
Ehrlich jetzt? Könnt ihr mich wirklich erschießen? Könnt ihr mich wirklich mit einem virtuellen Schuss erschießen? Ohne Scheiß.
Showcase extended. Thanks for watching.
El Bandi, wo bist du? Ist das jetzt wirklich? Das war's wirklich? Hör doch mal auf. Diese Schweineköpfe, was halten die uns? Haben die uns jetzt verarscht oder was? Egal, wir haben uns gut unterhalten, teilweise. Ne? Teils haben wir uns gut unterhalten. Warte mal, was schreiben denn die Leute in den Chat? Jo, das können die nichts mehr. Haben die schon weggemacht, weil die wollten den Shitstorm entgehen. Deswegen haben die das hier schnell weggemacht. Ihr Schweineköpfe. Ihr Schweineköpfe. Ich könnte echt ausrasten, wenn ich keine Nachbarn hätte und mein Kind gerade ins Bett gegangen ist. Dann würde ich echt hier schon einige Sachen gerade hier loswerden. Ey, das gibt's ehrlich nicht, oder? Das gibt's doch wirklich nicht, oder? Diese Schweineköpfe. Was für Penisköpfe. Oh, es gab ein Gameplay von Callisto, oder? Wollen wir mal schauen gerade? Wie schreibt man das dann? Callisto-Protokoll. Da gab es heute einen krassen Gameplay, ne? Oh, habt ihr das gesehen? Wo war denn das hier? Habe ich das gesehen? Welcher war denn das? Vor 12 Stunden. War das hier? Das kann es sein. Machen wir mal auf, komm. Scheiß drauf. Machen wir aber mal hier 4K diesmal, ne? Was soll denn das? Gut, die Qualität sieht trotzdem scheiße aus. Das sieht aus wie Dead Space, ne? Sind das eigentlich auch Dead Space-Macher? Ah, ist vom gleichen Creator. Okay, deswegen. Ja, ich finde das Spiel geil. So hätte Dead Space 3 aussehen müssen. Ne? Steel Rising 3. Können wir gleich auch nochmal reinmachen. Und dann höre ich auf. Dann machen wir noch den Steel Rising. Das können wir uns nochmal anschauen. Ich finde es ja genial, wie der am Ende so zerfetzt wird, ne? Wie lange dauert denn das eigentlich? Oh, nicht so lang, okay. Ja, die Todesszene war absolut genial, ne? Wie er den in den Ventilator geschickt hat, ja, das ist ja geil. Ach du Scheiße, das ist krass. Oh mein Gott. Ja. Das war viel besser als die ganze Game Show. Okay, wir gucken nochmal Steel Rising und dann muss ich leider aufhören. Wie schreibt man das dann eigentlich? Wie schreibt man das dann? Okay, so, da bin ich wieder. Steel Rising, schreibt man das so? Ja. Nochmal. Vor 6 Monaten, vor 3 Wochen, vor einem Monat. Wann ist denn das aktuellste? Das aktuellste. War das vor einem Monat? Ist das hier? Oder gab da noch was Aktuelles? Von PlayStation vor 3 Wochen. Das muss sein, ne? Geile Musik, auf jeden Fall, ne?
You're just as they described. An angel of death, descended from the heavens to vanquish the
Schon geile Musik.
Everything horrifies me. The king's wrath.
Okay, das ist der letzte Trailer, Leute. Und dann, goodbye, goodbye. Da muss ich raus.
Your mechanical revolution has changed the face of the kingdom.
So many innocents strewn about the square. The streets are teeming with machines.
Aegis, the king must be stopped.
You have roused the spirit of rebellion. My rightful enjoyment is being challenged.
You're no more human than the machines that laid waste to this city.
She's not like the others.
Das hast du ja auf deinem Kanal gezeigt, ne, Jack? Steel Rising, ne? Hast du ja.
Soon, however, those who bear love for their country in their hearts will be ready to fight again. More brave citoyens will surely join us soon. Alors, can we count on your support?
The king must be stopped.
I couldn't agree more, Madame.
Okay, Leute, ich verabschiede mich schon. Ja, es scheint wohl so zu sein. Only PS. Weiß ich aber nicht genau. Okay, dann danke fürs Zuschauen. Wir haben... Ja, die Game Show war leider nichts, ne? Kann man leider nichts machen. Aber ist halt so. Haut rein. Ich muss leider aufhören, weil ich muss jetzt mich schnell noch vorbereiten und dann aus dem Haus. Ich habe heute Nachtschicht. Dann wünsche ich euch allen eine gute Nacht, guten Abend. Erstmal guten Abend und dann gute Nacht. Dann sehen wir uns. Haut rein. Ups, das hier weg mit dem Foto. Also, ciao, ciao. Mach's gut. Haut rein. Ich klinge aus. Muss leider weg.